everybody, the MMO50 here. I'm back from my trip, and it was a great trip. It was a great experience. Let me fix my tripod a little here so the angle's right. There we go. It was a long trip. It was a long journey of sorts. So many interesting things. You'll see the videos on what I saw later. What I wanted to come on now and talk about, though, was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. For those of you who haven't read the books or seen the movie that's now in the States, at least at the time of this video, I would definitely recommend reading the book, but I would throw in a bit of a cautionary disclaimer. There is going to be spoilers, because I'm going to talk about the movie itself, how it differs in the book and how the movie did. The book by itself is, it was written by Stieg Larsson, and it was published after his death, as were the two other books in the series, The Girl Who Played with Fire and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. In that order, by the way, if you want to read them. And I, on the plane ride back here, finished reading Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And the book is very intricately detailed, and it deals with very... the subject matter is very adult, and it doesn't really shy away from explaining, sometimes in great detail, just how adult the material is. It's not trying to be juvenile. It's actually, from what I've seen, it's been considered a very controversial book because it deals openly with a lot of mature subjects and a lot of, honestly, rather horrific subjects if you get right down to it. But it's a very well done book, and the movie, the American, version, is very similar in that respect. I haven't seen the Swedish versions of the movie because the book originally was written in Sweden. Actually, funny thing, the original Swedish title was Men Who Hate Women. So, they changed it in the US releases for marketing, which I think is a smart move. Plus, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That sounds pretty awesome as a title. And the books themselves, again, great books. Now, you have to keep in mind here, the book series, while very adult, and I would definitely not recommend it to be read by children, it is very well put together, and okay, let's just talk about the characters in this book. And this is, from here on in, spoiler alert all the way. If you want to read the book and you haven't read the book, or you haven't seen the movie and you want to see the movie, turn off the video right now, because the rest of this is going to be laden with spoilers. Okay, so basic premise here. I haven't read all three of the books. Not yet. I'm in the middle of book 2 at the time of this video. But, I wanted to give my honest opinion about it. So, in the story, there's a woman named Lisbeth Salander. And she is unconventional, to say the least. She's asocial, not antisocial. Asocial means that you simply do not like social interaction on general, but you can still become, you can still socially interact with people you choose to interact with, you know. In the book, it's actually pondered by one of the other characters that she might have Asperger's syndrome, which I have, and I understand that. Lisbeth in the book, and in the movie from what I understand, went through a very kind of traumatic childhood, and and the movie deals a lot with... Okay, let's just start off with the fact that Lisbeth is intelligent beyond belief. In the book and in the movie, she is a hacker, a very good one. She's very intelligent. She knows how to get under people's skin. She knows how to find stuff. She knows how to... She has a photographic memory, all sorts of stuff. Then there's another character, Mikael Blomkvist, who also factors in greatly into the story. I'm not going to go into full detail of the characters because trying to explain them would take a whole video in and of themselves. Basically, what happens in the book is that there is someone who hires Mikhail, who, after Mikhail has lost a lawsuit, he's a journalist, you see, and he's under legal trouble because he published quote-unquote falsified information, which it is, but he didn't know. A source that he had asked him to keep it confidential unless he couldn't reveal his source. So he went to jail for having falsified information published because he couldn't give out the name of his source, figure out who lied. So he researches for the Wagner family, specifically Heinrich Wagner, who is looking for his lost niece. And, or actually granddaughter, technically. Well, no, niece would cover it. Harriet. Her name is Harriet, by the way. I'm sorry for the long pause there. And Heinrich believes that she was murdered because on the day of an accident, she disappears. And they never see her again. The family, I mean. In the movie, they do take some liberties with how how everything plays out. Lisbeth, again, trying to describe all the different stuff in this book would be, it would take a whole movie in and of it. It would take a whole 50 minutes for each character to individually describe how they intertwine in the book or the movie. But Lisbeth, for her company that she works with, she doesn't really work for, well, she works for a security firm, and she uses her hacking ability to be able to find information on people, and Mikhail finds out how she found out some of the information in a report that she did about him when he was, when he got in trouble for falsifying the information. And Mikhail figures out where she lives, and they basically start a small relationship. They actually do become intimate with each other, for lack of a better term, and they do form a very close bond with each other. Mikhail, by the way, is a bit of a ladies' man. He has more than one sexual partner throughout the course of the books, but he's never like he's never abusive or takes advantage of them. He never does anything like that, so far as I've seen. He's very it's difficult to kind of describe it. He's very kind, and he's very he's open, but he's honest. You know, he's kind of hard to say it. Anyway, major differences from, and well, actually, let me think here. In the book, it's eventually found out that Harriet did not die, but that she was taken, she hid and was helped by one of her family members who knew that she was being abused by her father and her brother, sexually abused and all this stuff. It's, again, this movie series and book series deals to great lengths with abuse and the like, how it affects people. And she hides so well that no one can figure out who or where she is or what new identity she's taken up. But it all makes sense. It all kind of ties back in, and it's a very interesting read. And Lisbeth and Mikhail find out all this, but okay, the differences between the movie and the book. I gotta say that because there are some differences. In the book, Lisbeth has a guardian, a legal guardian of sorts, who has a stroke. And he slowly recovers throughout the course of the second book. I'm halfway through that one, like I said before, so is recovering in that book, and she also has her mother who has basically mentally degenerated, from what I understand, from a cerebral hemorrhage. Several, in fact, several small ones. And at the end of book 1, she dies. Maybe not the end, but near the end, she dies from a cerebral hemorrhage. In the movie, they don't show anything of the mother. They pretty much combine the mother and the guardian together into one character so as to make things a little bit more streamlined for the American audience, I guess. Another big difference in the movie, let's see, what else to say? Well, there are a few minor characters that are shown in the book that aren't really shown in the movie all that much, but the way they're taken out for time doesn't really diminish any part of the book, you know. The movie, the American movie, I'll give to its credit, doesn't take out anything that could possibly be a vital point to the story. Now, obviously, as much detail as the book has, the movie can't perfectly replicate all of that. And if you didn't know some of the stuff from the book, you wouldn't know a lot of the information of how they found out stuff in the movie. But a lot of it stays pretty true to the book's intent and its original format. And, excuse me there. But yeah, it's, you know, the movie opens up with a very, sort of metal-ish, version of the song where the lyrics are "Come to the land of the ice and snow with the midnight sun and the hot springs glow." I can't remember the name of that song, but those are the opening lyrics. And I gotta give this up to, and the editing in this scene, the music is very loud, by the way, so you might want to plug your ears when that first part comes up. And it's sort of, the imagery is very vague. It's sort of like, if you remember Terminator 2 with the T-1000 with the liquid metal body, imagine that, but it's like matte black, and there's all sorts of abstract, maybe not abstract, but there's a whole lot of blended together imagery and footage of various things. It's hard to describe it unless you see it, because it just goes by so fast that trying to keep in every little detail is difficult. And the movie takes place in Sweden. All the characters speak English in the American version, for obvious reasons. And, well, they do speak with accents. I'm not sure how authentic they are, but I gotta give credit right up there to the actors who played Mikael and Lisbeth. They both nail their parts, like, dead on, for me. Lisbeth especially, you know, she's... In the book, she's very, not standoffish, but she's very quiet and not necessarily demure. In the book, she can fly into a rage at the right provocation. You know, she never flies into a rage without reason, or without some kind of reason behind it. And in the movie, she keeps this. Her actress is just phenomenal. I mean, this woman obviously gave it her all in this performance. And, the way they portray the scenes, because in the book, obviously, there are some things that they show, some very, it's very difficult to watch, because it's very, very, it's very adult, and it's realistic in that sense, you know. You can tell it's cinematically shot, but it almost looks like the real thing is taking place, and I'm not going to say exactly what, because even saying the word makes you feel a little sick. But yeah, if you're not offended by something like that, then you might be really heavily offended. It's not just sex, it's... yeah, it's that, and you know, it's realistically portrayed, though. It's not like it's played up any. That's exactly what happened in the book. So they're sticking to that part, at least, all right, which I respect. But the movie also doesn't shy away from showing good things about the characters. And just the little details, like there's this one scene where Elizabeth in the movie is like in a nightclub. She sees a woman across from her, and they go back to her place. And the next morning, Mikhail comes up. First time they've ever met. He knocks on the door. She gets out of bed, lets him in, and wouldn't you know it, the t-shirt that Elizabeth is wearing literally says, F you, you effing F. Which I was laughing in my seat when I figured out that that's what it said, because that fits. Because Elizabeth in the book wears a lot of shirts with a lot of provocative slogans. And that definitely is something that I think Elizabeth would indeed wear. That's realistic to Elizabeth. I can believe that. Excuse me. But, and Mikhail, the way his character is portrayed, he's portrayed by, one of the James Bonds. One of the guys who played James Bond. I can't remember which one. It's one of the, I think it's the guy who played James Bond in Quantum of Solace. I'm honestly a little bit, upset about the fact that I forget the names of the actors, because they're great actors, all of them. They portrayed their parts very well. Like, nothing here is overdone. It's like everything fits with how the characters should be reacting to certain things by how they should have reacted in the book. Other than cutting out, really, about the review about this movie, the only thing I can say that's really as a negative is the fact that they had to cut out certain things in order for it to get like a 2-hour and 40-minute movie from the book, because the book is like 400 plus pages. So, and there's a lot of intricate detail in there, and a lot of that can't really be, and there's a lot of thinking and a lot of conveyed detail that you can't really convey in movie form, because movie form is very show, don't tell. You know, you have to kind of show it with the visual. So, in far as that goes, they did a very good job with that. Really, I cannot recommend this movie and this book series enough, but if you're going to see the movie, you should definitely read the book first to have some context and know kind of what to expect. Because this movie does a very good job of respecting the source material while still making it believable. You know, it doesn't like make it into anything whimsical or fanciful. It treats the subject matter, as grisly as it is, with a lot of respect and dignity. And if they do the other two books into movies, Girl Who Played with Fire and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, if they do both of those movies along with Girl with the Dragon Tattoo in the American release, then I'll be going to see those. And I'm already working again on book 2, and as soon as I finish book 2, book 3 is on my list. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you want to go see something like that. Now granted, again, you might feel a bit uncomfortable watching some of the scenes, but that's a very important point. That's a very important part of the characterization of the characters. I'm sorry if this isn't a very concise review, but I'm trying to explain this stuff here, and a lot of this is really hard to convey through words alone, because it's just so intricate and detailed, you know. It's hard to really explain it. Anyway, I had to go, but I'll be seeing you guys later as soon as I get my stuff for Italy edited together. I'll see you all later. Bye.